Okay. Hey CHS, I'm Eve McBride and I'm here with my co-host Olivia Garman.
Welcome to this week's episode of The Pulse. Now that school's been canceled, the next time we'll be at school will be seniors. Isn't that crazy?
Wow, I never even thought of that. The past 3 years went by so quickly. Let's check in with Aiden and Katie to see how they've been reflecting on their freshman year.
Roll the clip.
And the moment that really stuck out, my first day, freshman year, was walking on the sidewalk to school, right on Lafayette Avenue, and the sidewalk ended. And so I looked around and I didn't want to cross on the crosswalk for some reason, and I just kept walking on the curb all the way down Lafayette. I don't know, I really don't know why I just didn't cross the road. Maybe there was traffic, I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me. 3-4 years later, I don't really understand why I couldn't just cross the road, but
So when I was a freshman, I took on way more than I could handle. I was doing my club swim team, the high school swim team, 2 honors classes, and the play. And on top of that, I decided I was going to get a job, and I just remember being so stressed out and so tired.
My advice to freshmen who walk to school: always walk on the sidewalk. Always do it. My other piece of advice is to always walk on the right side of the hallway. Don't be a freshman or a sophomore or a junior or a senior that walks on the wrong side of the hallway, because you're going to have people that want to move to class fast and you don't want to be in their way.
I think it was very important for me in freshman year to learn to balance and not take on too much. So that'd be my best advice to incoming freshmen. And that would be to find a good balance that works for them and not overwork yourself.
Wow, I can't believe that was 3 years ago for us.
I know, it's great to look back on the past, but as juniors, we should really be planning for the future too.
I bet Eve has big plans for where she's going after high school. Ben and Megan interviewed Miss Colbert and Miss Slate. Let's see if they have any tips for the rest of us.
Roll the clip.
I think, in general, what juniors should be focusing on right now is the fact that they can still use Naviance very extensively as an avenue of resource and mechanism for doing further research about schools that they want to explore, and utilizing, the scattergram data and the website data that is available to them through that platform to continue to develop a healthy and a balanced list. And while many colleges always had virtual tours available on their websites, many of them revamped them to make them, more detailed and to provide a more up-close and personal view of the campus and campus life and all the things that the school has to offer.
I would add to, I think an important thing for juniors to know right now is that everyone else is going through this, and the college admission offices know this and they're preparing for that. So while there might be some anxiety tied to the fact that the process isn't how it normally is, quote unquote, other college officials know this and they're being understanding, and I'm sure we'll cover a bunch of other ways they're changing things, but try to have some semblance of mind that at least you're in the same boat as other juniors are, and so the changes are being made to accommodate all of these circumstances.
Also, juniors should try to remain very calm about the testing piece. We know that has been something that has been of great angst and concern for many. And as Mrs. Slate said, everybody is in the same boat with that situation. And so the best thing to do there is to recognize that many colleges are well aware that students have not had a fair shake to be able to test in the timeline and in the fashion that they would have hoped.
So the process, I think Ms. Colbert highlighted one of the bigger conversations right now is with standardized testing. A lot of juniors were anticipating taking those tests this spring, and so a lot of colleges have responded by being test optional. So looking at other factors and things to emphasize in regards to acceptances and things like that. I think the other way the process is obviously going to be very different is thinking about visits and reimagining ways to do that. So like Ms. Colbert said, virtual visits and trying to get creative with like Google Maps and Google Satellite and different ways to kind of look at the school and get an idea. I think researching a lot of specifics is going to be really important.
It's important for students to approach the process using the alternate resources and directions that would be provided to them as a means of exploring colleges and developing a healthy list based on their preferences. I think because we're being so actively communicated to about what the changes are, and colleges are, providing that information with us and to us quite readily, I think that, while it's certainly reasonable that there might be this feeling of uncertainty, I don't think it means that you have to overly worry, because colleges are taking this all into consideration. They themselves had to go to online learning for the remainder of this semester for their current students, that are living the experience now. So it's not like they can't identify with what everybody has, had to go through and the stressors that accompany, this time.
In our most recent junior update message that was sent out on School Messenger and then also to juniors, there was a post-CHS and college planning guide that was sent out. It's a Google Doc that was specific to the circumstances, like the COVID-19 circumstances we find ourselves in. So it has information about like how to take a virtual tour and stuff that's specific to this. So we definitely recommend like utilizing that and referencing that, and we can easily share that link again if students want to use that, because it's a good resource, because we understand things are a little bit different versus the junior packet that we sent out now that we're not in person. But yeah, there's a lot of resources, and I think it's overwhelming to think about all the people that can help you. So starting with what Ms. Colbert said, starting with your counselor or myself, we can direct you in the right links or who the right people are, the contacts are, so that you're not spending your time Googling College Board information, right, that we likely have a direct access to.
Guess we better start working on that college application, Eve.
Yeah, with all this free time, I could probably start thinking of ideas for my essay.
Brandon and Emma are using their free time to make a time capsule that will remind us of our time in quarantine. Roll the clip.
I've gotten sick of my regular routine, and I feel as though I need to educate the future on the events that have taken place in the past few months. How do I do this, you ask? A time machine. I'll script a letter and bury it in my backyard, only for some robot from the future to dig it up and soak up my knowledge. It's been months since I last left the comfort of my own home. I'm starting to wonder if I'll ever get out of here alive, or at least in my youth. For hours on end, I stare at my window watching the grass and my neighbor's plants grow. Occasionally a dog walks by. I even saw someone walking a bunny, but that's about it. When I'm not staring out the window in awe, I'm sleeping. When I sleep, I can imagine a world so beautiful and free of disease. People can go to stores without masks or hazmat suits, and everyone is really, really happy. But then, I just wake up and stare out the window again. Sometimes I ponder my dreams though. I think about the simple things that I miss, like getting a haircut, eating at a restaurant, being able to stand less than 6 feet away, or being able to walk past someone on the sidewalk without them sprinting across the street in an attempt to avoid you, or being able to watch my favorite episodes of SpongeBob without any commercials warning me not to leave my house. It seems like we all took our regular busy lives for granted up until this coronavirus thing. That's why when this whole thing is over, I'm expecting a very different world. A world where teenagers can still sled during snowstorms. A world where teenagers can still build Hot Wheels tracks. A world where teenagers can still take a bath. This new world will be nothing like we have ever seen, and I cannot wait to see it myself. But in the meantime, I'm going to run upstairs to my window because I think my neighbor's tulips are blooming today, and I do not want to miss that. Whoever is reading this note, never take your boring and regular life for granted, because one day it can all be stripped from you and you'll have to resort to curbside pickup and hazmat suits just like us. Love, Brandon.
It's weird to think that one day this will all be history.
Yeah, quarantine is definitely a historic and difficult time for all of us, especially for the doctors, nurses, and medical staff on the front lines fighting the virus.
Kelsey and Ryan interviewed the founder of Frontline Appreciation Group, a group taking action to support those frontliners. Let's take a look at what the members of FLAG are doing here in Chatham. Roll the clip.
So I'm Liz Burnich, co-founder of FLAG, which stands for the Frontline Appreciation Group. The founding group of FLAG was here in Chatham and Madison as a partner. FLAG's purpose is twofold, and then there's added benefits to it. But the purpose of FLAG is really to support the local restaurant community by ordering meals from those restaurants, which are then sent over to the hospital and other facilities of healthcare workers, as well as other frontline workers such as police, fire, EMS. The whole purpose of FLAG was to address, with the quarantine, to address the lack of business that's going to the restaurants, but also help with the healthcare workers being much more limited in their ability to eat and stay fueled during their shifts. So most of them are working 12-hour shifts. And with the virus situation, they're locked into their units during those 12 hours, and they're not able to get out, get lunch or dinner. Restaurants are closed by 8 now. So the access to food, and which is essentially fuel, it's cut off, right? So we've stepped in as a source. We're also recognizing that these are folks who, they get home from their 12-hour shift usually after about 13 hours, and they're exhausted. They're physically, mentally exhausted. We know that limitations are out there as far as how much food they can get. We want to keep them out of the store, the grocery store. We want to keep them, just home and resting. So feeding them while they're at work has been, I think, a huge boost to their physical energy, but it's also been a boost to them emotionally, being able to keep them, keep the love going, make sure that they know they're appreciated. And on the flip side, keeping the money flowing to the restaurants has been really super helpful for our community. So I had seen, one of my closest friends had posted a screenshot of a meal plan happening on Long Island where I grew up. And that was on the 19th of March. I thought, that is totally brilliant. We should be doing the same thing out here. We have a huge hospital here and lots of restaurants who are going to be faltering. So let's just connect the two. So it just inspired me to get it going. And our community latched on incredibly well, and the Madison community as well. So it's really just been an avalanche since. The typical day will include fielding calls and emails from businesses that are looking to partner with us. So today I had a couple of conference calls like that, and it's all amazing. There are a lot of companies out there who are trying to make a difference using what they do, and they don't often have the access points to the communities, but we, at this point, FLAG, we have 107 other FLAG groups around the country that have popped up. We are not operating as one giant company, but we're all sharing the logo and the name. And then with the extension of the town after FLAG, so FLAG Butte in Montana, for example. And given that we're all pretty well connected now through just our efforts and all being under that same logo, we can have access points for product distribution. So there was a company today, a clothing company that's making masks, and they're now offering them for sale, and they'll offer a buy one give one deal to their customers. So if you buy a mask, they'll donate one to a frontline worker. But they're not sure how to get those distributed, so they've reached out to us, noting our grassroots and kind of localization, and asking if we can be the distributor for them. The needs are so immediate, and our whole purpose is to address those needs as fast as we can and bring solutions quickly. So, if somebody is telling you they haven't eaten in 3 days, they really mean it, and we're trying to get something in their hands that day. There's countless people who put themselves out for us. That community of people has not always gotten as much appreciation and recognition as they probably ought to. But right now, especially, they're putting themselves in harm's way. So we're doing our very best to make sure they know we appreciate that.
Thank you to all the frontliners helping to fight the virus and keep the people of our community safe and healthy. We recognize how hard you're working, and we at the Pulse want to say how much we appreciate your efforts.
Can you imagine if we had known how much the coronavirus would affect our lives? Let's see what Ryan and Aiden think would happen if we could somehow warn our past selves.
Roll the clip.
Hey man, what's up? Who are you? I'm you 5 months from now. Take a seat, I don't have that much time. I can't say much, but I'm gonna give you some advice for the future. No way, what are you gonna tell me? Well, I can't. You're gonna tell me the perfect March Madness bracket, aren't you? No. Darn. How's Garrett Cole now that he's on the Yankees? He's, look, that's not the point. Since when did I become so lame? You'll understand when the time comes. Just let me tell you what I need to tell you. Fine. Get mom to go to Costco and tell her to buy a bunch of toilet paper, gloves, and masks. Whatever it is sounds gross. And make sure you get a bunch of snacks too. Like, a lot. Also, get a bunch of Purell. Man, just tell me what's gonna happen. I can't, dude. Fine. At least tell me how I did on the SAT. Oh, I don't know. What do you mean? If you're from 5 months in the future, that means I took it 2 months ago. How'd I do? Look, man, don't worry about it. Oh, so I did pretty well, huh? Sure. Why can't you tell me anything? I tell you anything, bro. Anything. We're the same person. We don't have to tell each other anything. Note to self, man. Don't become so boring. I'm not telling you for your own good. Just make sure you get those things from Costco, get gas in the car, and whatever else you're low on. Aight, man. I don't know how Purell and getting gas is more important than winning the perfect bracket. But you do you. I'm telling you, man. Nah, I'm out of here, man. I got some 2K to play. Why was I so stupid?
That's it for this week's episode of The Pulse.
Thanks for tuning in. See you all next week.